We making moves. We making major moves. We making moves. We making major moves. We going all in. Like we got nothing to lose. We making moves. We making major moves.
What is up, everybody? I'm Mr. Man. Welcome back to my channel. Today I want to go over Swift for you guys. Swift Essentials. What it is the overarching umbrella of what Swift is offering within their array of options. When I say options, they have Swift Fin, Swift Fin Plus. They have Swift Go, Swift GPI. They also offer cloud services like Swift Alliance Cloud Services. So I want to just get into that with you guys. Go into dates, time frames, what's being implemented, what's changing, what's not changing, what coexistence looks like from 2022, sorry, to 2025, leading into 2026 or 2027, I believe it is, because there's different dates and different triggers for different things taking place. So I want to get you guys updated with that and show you how this works with other connecting companies for their own APIs that they offer for their companies, and where Ripple plays into this, because I want you guys to know this stuff. What's the point of me having all this information and keeping it up here, right? Each one, teach one. I want to get this out. I want you guys to know this. So let's get into this, okay? Here we are on Swift's website, billing information, Swift Essentials. Also with Swift, who is working, one of the cryptocurrencies or crypto companies working really closely with Swift is Chainlink. That is a cryptocurrency I personally hold, and these are the reasons why, but I'll also show you how Ripple connects with this as well. So from January 1st, 2024, which has ended long time ago, Swift Essentials will be applied universally to all Swift users in scope. If your organization is in scope for Swift Essentials, so in other words, you hold a package within this umbrella here, you will have received an operational notification via email in September 2023 containing full details. So you will receive your 2024 Swift Essentials invoice in April 2024. Your annual invoice is subsequent years will be issued in January of each year. So each year it's going to be changing now. Each year, January is when you get your new invoice. To request a purchase order, reference your Swift Essentials. This is what the requesting that order looks like. Nothing spectacular, but I want to give you guys an overview. Find out more. Explore settlements, entitlements, and access. So here we have a panel now. This is a panel with Intellect and individuals from Swift itself, all right? Intellect is a company who works with Swift to help Swift with their transition and with the, I guess, day-to-day operations itself. Let's hear what they have to say, all right?
So this year, Swift rolled out a new model for our value-added products and services. It consists of the leading capabilities that we've developed with the community in recent years.
This video is 3 months old, okay?
With the goal to create a new standard and elevate the end-to-end customer cross-border transaction experience. So if we go to the next slide, please. So in theme with Swift, we're looking to raise the bar again. So for those that have been with the Swift network for a few years now, back in 2016, we introduced the Customer Security Program, which aimed to raise the bar to reduce the cybersecurity threats and also achieve better compliance. This year, we're raising the bar again, and we're setting a new standard for transaction services, meanwhile uplifting the entire financial industry. One of the key benefits of Swift Essentials is its simplicity and predictability. So each customer that's entitled to Swift Essentials will receive one invoice at the start of each year, covering all the services included in that entitlement. So a few years ago, the G20 made enhancing cross-border payments a priority. Swift Essentials aims to help achieve the goal of limiting cost, improving speed, boosting access, and increasing transparency of cross-border transactions by 2027. In line with Swift's own strategy of instant and frictionless, Swift Essentials will increase speed and security. The products included in Swift Essentials will help streamline the end-to-end payments process. And of course, customers are at the heart of what we do and what everyone on this webinar does. So we're looking to improve the end customer experience through seamless transaction and faster issue resolution. Through two of the Swift securities view and transaction screening. We're also looking to reduce cost with greater efficiency across payments and security life cycles. So here we have a view of the entire payments lifecycle. Also, we see the products and services that are included in Swift Essentials. So to begin with, we have payment initiation. And part of the Swift Essentials entitlement is SwiftRef. So SwiftRef provides the information required to correctly route your payments in a variety of formats. We also have payment pre-validation, which allows you to check and prevent for payment errors up front, increasing efficiency and cost savings. Includes country-specific content validation, account validations through our central beneficiary account validation solution. Underneath there, you see KYC registry, which is our one-stop central repository hosted by us, removing the need for bilateral KYC document exchange. And then the financial crimes and compliance section, we have payment controls, which helps mitigate risk within your payment process through anomaly detection, which will ultimately allowing you to detect fraudulent payments before they go out and in flight. What is not included in Swift Essentials, but you'll see here, is transaction screening. This allows you to screen against sanctions entities. Moving forward to processing, we see Swift GPI. This was introduced in 2017. This allows tracking and traceability of your payments over the Swift network. And through this, we see 89% of transactions processed reach recipient banks within 1 hour. Additionally, part of your Swift Essentials is Swift Go, which is our low-value payment solution. So McKinsey did a study that estimated the total market size of low-value payments is 10.6 trillion USD. So Swift Go really builds upon GPI with different service level agreements and also visibility into deducts. Case management will allow you to streamline the exceptions and investigation process. And last year we rolled out Swift Securities View, which is really going to try to help the US market achieve T+1 and helps to reduce settlement fails through clear end-to-end tracking and post-trade processing. So how does Essentials work? Well, I've just introduced it to you. I've discussed the entitlement, what you are entitled to, which also is included at the bottom of this slide. Once you decide on which solutions and products you'd like to implement, like anything within Swift, you place your e-order, and then you begin implementation. The majority of these products and services have a self-onboarding, as well as you're always welcome to engage with our professional services. There are a few that are mandatory onboardings. If you have any questions regarding the onboarding, feel free to reach out to me bilaterally. And then lastly, we have Go Live. That's when you start using your chosen service to achieve the goal of uplifting the financial community.
Wunderbar. So that's Swift's array of packages that they have within the Swift Essential package breakdown, essentially. So now we're going to go a bit deeper into that, okay?
Thanks, Greg. Appreciate it. And thanks everyone for joining today. Pleasure to be speaking with you all. So I'll speak a bit about Alliance Cloud and our zero footprint connectivity to Alliance Cloud. Next slide, please. So just to kind of clarify a couple things on what Alliance Cloud is and what it isn't, right? If you look on the left-hand side of the screen where it says on-premises infrastructure, right? Many institutions today do choose to connect to Swift, utilizing interfaces such as Alliance Access, interfaces that are hosted on premise, right, that may require an Alliance gateway, a SwiftNet link, hardware security modules. But additionally, some of these components can be hosted in the cloud, right? When we say cloud in this context, we mean public cloud providers such as GCP, AWS, Azure, and others, right? What we're talking about today with Alliance Cloud, because cloud can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people, on the right-hand side in that green box, right? Alliance Cloud is Swift's software as a service solution for messaging connectivity to the network, to the Swift network. So, meaning, if you want to use Alliance Cloud, you can connect without needing to host your own interface software on your premises or in the public cloud. Okay, so the big takeaway I like from this slide is really to kind of illustrate what Alliance Cloud is, that is a SaaS solution hosted at Swift data centers and operating centers that's accessible via web portal and API, versus the public cloud where you can deploy your infrastructure as a service. Okay, and as we'll see in some following slides, the public cloud can also be used in combination with Alliance Cloud. But we'll get to that in a little bit. Next slide, please. And next slide again. We'll intro Alliance Cloud now, just beyond comparing it to what has existed already, like I just did before. On this slide, just some high-level numbers on Alliance Cloud. Really what this is meant to drive home is how there is a market shift towards software as a service solutions in the financial industry, and really just generally across lots of verticals as a whole, right? We see the numbers at the bottom, 85% of firms adopting a cloud-first strategy by 2025 in a Gartner report. The other number that you see there relates more specifically to Swift connected institutions, right? Today, 3,000 plus institutions connecting to Swift use one of our cloud portfolio offerings. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean Alliance Cloud, but they are already using footprints that are a hybrid model or are working towards Alliance Cloud. So just some high-level numbers there. We can take a look at the next slide, please. So 10,000-foot view on what Alliance Cloud actually is, using some images here, right? On the left-hand side, this would represent your environment as a consumer of Swift, right? You know, you may have your footprint deployed on your own premises in your own data center, or in the green lower left quadrant, you may be hosting and deploying to the public cloud, like I mentioned before. Then via Alliance Cloud, which is hosted at Swift operating centers, you gain access to the right-hand side of the screen, which is the financial community, the 11,500 plus members, you know, institutions and entities that are connected to the Swift network. So again, it's that unified channel through which you can do your messaging. So the four key pillars we like to look at here is Alliance Cloud we consider easy, right? This is because as a SaaS solution, it doesn't encompass the usual care and feeding with on-premises infrastructures such as AMH, Swift Alliance Access, or other third-party interfaces, right? With Alliance Cloud, you do have the benefit of a software as a service solution that is really one cohesive access point into the network. That also folds into TCO reduction. Total cost of ownership goes down when you don't have to do patch upgrades, standards, message tables, imports to interfaces, security updates, things of that nature. Future-proof, we like to say, because Swift is making a significant investment in Alliance Cloud as a strategic connectivity method going forward. And reliability, because you get the reliability of the underpinning network of Swift with Alliance Cloud. Just some high-level things in terms of benefits and value proposition around Alliance Cloud. A couple key ones I'll point out on this slide. Integration through messaging APIs. Alliance Cloud exposes a standard messaging API. Quick access to features. You know, if there is critical mass on feature requests from our user community or whatever our product team is cooking up in the kitchen, that gets folded into the Alliance Cloud offering on a rolling basis, since it is developed in an agile methodology. Okay, easily scalable with growing needs, we say, because Alliance Cloud currently can handle 100,000 messages in and out, so sent and received per day per BIC. Okay, that figure is slated to increase to 150,000 messages per day per BIC by the end of 2025. So Alliance Cloud is certainly coming to the table built for purpose. Additionally, the same footprint you use that we'll take a look at in just a slide or two will be able to be leveraged for accessing value-added services such as GPI, TSS, and the ones that my colleague Tony mentioned with regards to Swift Essentials. Zooming in a little further, we see the two main methods of consuming or connecting to Alliance Cloud. In the top, we have a human user that can navigate to a web portal over the internet or through Swift VPN. And in the bottom, we have methods of integrating straight through processing or more automated integration, whereby this will facilitate higher throughput and more automated message transfer. This is the piece we'll get into a little further with zero footprint. So to round out my topics of conversation, maybe we can go to the next slide and take a look at what Swift zero footprint is. So this here, again, Alliance Cloud exposes the Swift messaging API, which we can see in the center of the screen, right? This is a standard RESTful API specification that allows messages to be sent to Swift with a RESTful API call, and for messages to be queried and pulled down from Swift if your counterparties have sent them to you via a standard RESTful API. These specifications are exposed and publicly available on Swift's developer portal, developer.swift.com, and are able to be taken and generated for an API client in the language of your choice, right? So on the left-hand side where we see customer hosted, right, really what happens is that API client is going to be embedded somewhere, right, in some sort of application like a Catalyst integration manager, right, that can embed an API client to Alliance Cloud for sending and receiving messages. Additionally, I want to call attention to the bottom of the slide where it says Swift Multi-Cloud KMS, right, and it says consent on top. So the identity model with Alliance Cloud, like most of Swift, is utilizing a public key infrastructure certificate, or a PKI certificate. Rather than needing to store the certificate on a hardware security module, the certificate can be stored on disk, right? Some institutions may be fine with this responsibility, but other institutions may want to delegate that to a provider. For example, Microsoft Azure has Key Vault. Amazon AWS has AWS KMS, or Key Management Service. Okay, so Swift has allowed the delegation and storage of these certificates through Swift's multi-cloud key management service. Okay, as you can see in here. And to underpin and round out my topics of discussion, the zero footprint really means that you do not need to download an SDK. You do not need to download a connector application, right? Really, this API specification can be embedded, right, and taken from our developer portal in order to consume those APIs and bringing your own application or middleware, right? And additionally, in terms of identity and security, you can leverage your public cloud tenant that you already use, such as AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud Platform. So hopefully this has given some good insight into some of the technical details. I'll pass the ball over to our next speaker then, Gregory.
So here we have an operating certificate for Finastra from Swift itself. This is a Swift certificate. So Swift certificate application profile from 2019. This is Finastra. They are talking about the application for Fusion Trade Innovation. So Fusion, Swift Fusion Total Messaging Services, okay? That's Finastra's platform. So here we're on Finastra's website here, Finastra, Ripple, fact sheet, payments connectivity, marketplace. So in the marketplace here, managing cross-border payments easier with RippleNet via Fusion Total Messaging. Today, global banks and corporations manage millions of payment messages in message warehouses and around the world. As a result, communication with counterparties and operating in multiple currencies, languages, time zones, and regulatory environments introduce risks. Manual interventions further burdens, you hear this? Manual interventions, that's still going to exist with Swift, and they will force you to not use this. They will force you to not want to use the manual interventions. Okay, so it burdens resources and can lead to human error. That's what it's about. It's about the automation. It's about removing the human element aspect of this because of human error. Banks and corporations need a technology that can eliminate manual intervention, reduce risk, improve efficiency, and perhaps most importantly, save time and money. Time costs you money. It's all about money. So if you can move money fast, with Finastra and Ripple's partnership, regulated financial businesses and banks can connect to RippleNet via RippleNet network via a Fusion Total Messaging adapter using standard FIN messages. Standard FIN messages. So here we are back on Swift's website with Spin, our core message, our core service for exchanging MT format financial messages. So that's a Swift thing, okay? FIN connects you to financial institutions, corporates, and market infrastructure. FIN enables financial institutions to exchange individual structured MT and ISO 15022 message formats, financial messages securely and reliably. It is based on a distributed processing architecture with full built-in redundancy to ensure maximum availability. Banks and non-banks banking institutions will save time and increase operational efficiencies through global functionality, advanced straight-through processing, web-based technology, and advanced drill-down and query capabilities. Seamless integration with payments and treasury systems reduce the risk and cost associated with onboarding. This is how it looks. Okay, this is an overview of how it looks. The back office there, the customer bank itself. You have Finastra, which acts as the interface, the connectivity, and Ripple is the mechanism, the company which allows and offers the mechanism being the real-time rails, the RTGS system for that movement. RTGS, I guess you could call it that depending on where it's going. But the course, RTGS, real-time gross settlement system, the plumbing for it to connect to the correspondent bank at that point to allow for that movement, that hop of money. So again, there's still Nostro Vostro, but in a digital manner at this point. And that operates in a DeFi liquidity pools. I'm a contributor to liquidity pools. I'm earning on the daily with this, and this is what this allows you guys to do. The more I learn, the better it's becoming, man. So RippleNet via Fusion Total Messaging provides interoperability between existing messaging systems and RippleNet blockchain technology. So why is XRP not moving really? I mean, there's no real value within RippleNet currently. Why? RLUSD is in beta testing. The Ripple has minted several issuances, if you will, or derivatives of the their digital currency known as Ripple or Real USD at this point here. But it's not out for use yet, right? So there's no value going across the RippleNet ecosystem. Right? Does this make sense? So XRP technically isn't being utilized by Ripple for moving value for anything. There's different sides and angles to XRP itself. When moving securities in terms of a liquid fashion, the term investment contract asset doesn't exist yet. Not even necessarily. It doesn't exist yet. So to move that crypto within the security itself, or to have that crypto act as a underlying mechanism within that value being transferred, the SEC is still looking at it as an entire package, an all-encompassing package, with the crypto included in the investment, as opposed to the asset that moves the investment. This is the contract, the asset investment contract that allows this security to move, right? So that's what's still ongoing. We know that Ripple, or XRP, is not a security, but what we don't know is, what is it? What does it do? What doesn't do? Who can use it? Who can't use it? What confines is it need to conform to? All right? That's what we don't know still. So let's jump back. Wait, let's see. Reduce costs. Yeah, it just talks about RippleNet. I've been through this several times. So FedNow, when we flipped the switch in the middle of the year, this is verbatim, okay, by the FedNow personnel during an interview with Finastra. Okay, Finastra is an early adopter of the FedNow system. When I say they're an early adopter, they allow for the integration through their software and their system, and I guess in various aspects, to connect to the FedNow service, which also happens to connect to Swift. But keep in mind, the FedNow service is just for local jurisdictions within the 51 states within the United States. To go cross-border, trans-border, whatever you want to call it, that's where the FedWire comes in 2025, when it goes live with ISO 20022. Listen to this gentleman here.
on to our next topic, and this is really ties into some of the questions that have come our way. Basically, Stephen, I'll say right off the bat, this is for you. Can we discuss timeline requirements, onboarding process to launch FedNow service?
Yeah, so we have an active pilot program with 120 organizations to basically help us build out the FedNow system. That's been active for a couple years. And we hope, and we are actively recruiting what we're calling early adopters right now. And what does that mean? We're hoping we can get a good couple hundred customers that are in the position to both real-time post and connect. So when we turn on our testing system, which is late this year or first quarter of 23, they will be able to test our system. So when we flip the switch, and let's assume it is middle of 23, we will have several hundred customers on the system moving transactions.
Right? So that switch has been flipped. Now look at the different options there that will exist. Receive only, send and receive request for payments, RFPs, and enable LMTs. I'm not sure what LMT is. But these are the different options and functions that exist within the FedNow service for the participants, that being someone like Finastra, okay? Right now, the FedNow is still, I believe it's still just in a receive mode, not a send. Or they're in send, but they, well, wait a minute. It's one or the other. They're in receive mode because they have no control over what they receive and what they don't receive, but they're in a send environment still, but not many participants are sending currently, okay? And that's what coexistence is, the send and receive, the variation between the send and receive modes. I want to take you guys down a little rabbit hole I dug myself into. So LGT, in a nutshell, is solidly financed with a healthy balance sheet. Clients from all over the world entrust their assets to LGT because they can invest with the same strategy as the princely family, because they want to take advantage of our expertise in sustainable investments, and because we offer them valuable additional services such as an asset structuring for families, real estate financing, and philanthropy advice. So our owners, a journey through 700 years in the princely house of Liechtenstein. The history of the owner family of LGT has been closely connected with the country of Liechtenstein ever since Prince Karl I from 1569 to 1627, the first prince of Liechtenstein. Today, Liechtenstein is one of the most economically successful states in the world. Okay, so the LGT has selected Finastra to roll out digital services in Austria and Liechtenstein. LGT is a princely house that has 900 years of service of sustainable banking. Okay, so here it is here. Here's that. Finastra, a global provider of financial software applications and marketplace. Today, it has been selected by LGT to roll out instant payment services in Austria and Liechtenstein, with other markets to follow. LGT will implement Finastra's payment hub using a model bank implementation approach to accelerate its readiness to meet the EU instant payments regulatory timeline. Okay, so Ripple Enterprise Blockchain Solution for Global Payments and Finastra have teamed up to offer Ripple's blockchain technology through Finastra's payment solution. Okay, it's payment solution. It's payment hub, it's payment solution. Okay, to support fast cross-border payments. Okay, Liechtenstein has strong treaty ties to the two economy and currencies areas of Switzerland and the European Union. Switzerland and the European Union. In the financial service sector, Liechtenstein's monetary union with Switzerland and its membership of the European Economic Area are of particular note. The currency treaty with Switzerland of 1980 not only made the Swiss franc the legal tender of Liechtenstein, but also made certain Swiss legal and administrative provisions applicable. The Swiss National Bank serves as Liechtenstein's central bank.
Now we have someone from the private sector Brad Garlinghouse, who is the CEO of the financial technology company Ripple.
I will start off by also.
This is SNB, the Swiss National Bank dinner that they're having here. This is Tobias Adrian of the IMF. This is Christine Lagarde. This individual, like this is high business people here, okay? Swiss National Bank. Let me take this further before I let Brad speak. So here, this is this year, Money 2020. They revealed they dropped some huge nuggets here. Ripple is opening an office near the BIS in Geneva, Switzerland. And I purposefully point out the BIS. I don't know the proximity to it, but it's in Geneva, Switzerland. The Switzerland's National Bank, SNB. All right? The SNB. SNB. This is what we're talking about here. Swiss National Bank. Okay? This is where the big money is. Ripple's setting up shop right there. Stellar and Circle both moved to New York because that's where the Wall Street is, okay? So Ripple plans to expand in the EU and UK. MiCA regulations are implemented December 30th. How important is that? Right? Majority of Ripple's customers are in the EU, UK, and APAC region.
I've been at Ripple now for 7 years. We started, the company's been going now for over 12 years. And, originally we started out by building a payment product, really solving for the pain points around being able to deliver payments with certainty at a cost efficiency in mind, but also just making sure that payments happen instantly. And so we built a cross-border payment product that leverages XRP and the XRP ledger to be able to do that for our customers. And we provide a single API that allows financial fintech companies to be able to do that. To send cross-border payments instantly. Now we're starting to expand our products and services. So we're now very much focused on building an end-to-end platform for banks, financial institutions to build a digital asset business. Last year, we announced our acquisition, of Metaco for $250 million. And custody is a really key piece of infrastructure when you want to build on digital assets. And so, what we're seeing is Ripple are starting to expand into other products and services like tokenization, liquidity, to really provide that end-to-end life cycle from a product perspective. What's really exciting is that a lot of our bank customers on the custody side, such as HSBC and SocGen, they're actually thinking about leveraging, tokenization at the core of their growth plan. So we're expecting kind of more stories around custody and tokenization to really come out in the next few months. Yeah, so we are just about to open our Geneva office in Switzerland, which we're really excited about. The majority of our growth from an organizational perspective is happening in Europe. So we anticipate that the number of people that we have working for Ripple is going to expand. We continue to invest in our custody products on the back of the acquisition, in addition to that, because of the regulatory framework from a MiCA perspective, helping create certainty around kind of the digital asset ecosystem in Europe, we see this as a really important region for us because actually the majority of our customers are either based here or in Asia Pacific. More customer acquisition, enhancing our products and services, making sure that customer centricity is the heart of everything we do, and really kind of seeing that customer growth journey is something that we're really excited about here.
Awesome. That takes us back here to SNB, but don't fret, because this isn't about Ripple. I mean, this is about Ripple, but this video itself isn't solely about Ripple. I want you guys to have a good understanding of what Swift is, Swift Essentials, and the packages within Swift Essentials, what they offer, what they don't offer. But yes, and what other cryptocurrencies are involved with Swift, such as Chainlink. But listen to this. I'm not going to play the whole 8 minutes, but I want you to hear this.
also thanking Charles, thanking Thomas, thanking Christine. It's an honor to be included. And as was introduced, I think they saved me for last so that I could talk about the private sector version of this. I also start by kind of explaining the basics of what Ripple is and what Ripple is not. Ripple is a private company. We're based in California, about 300 or 400 employees around the world. And we're trying to solve a problem. We're selling technologies to banks and financial institutions to solve a cross-border payments problem. To be clear, we have not focused on the central bank digital currency issuance. Our view is very much there needs to be interoperability globally. And even in a world of CBDCs, you still need interoperability to solve that problem. Also, before I dive in, my comments are more focused on kind of explaining how Ripple's approaching this problem as opposed to just CBDCs. But I thought it worth spending a moment on how we think about blockchain at large and why it is such an interesting technology and I think appropriate for central banks and commercial banks to be looking at. For me, the novelty of any blockchain technology is the ability for two parties to transact without trust, but with certainty. So today, anytime we transact, we are transacting through a central counterparty, whether that be a correspondent bank where Ripple is focused, or that be a Visa or American Express, what have you. The opportunity around blockchains is to change that dynamic, and I think many industries, whether it's payments, what we're talking about today, or securities, or even loans, any of those transactions, I think, can be disrupted and made more efficient through blockchain technologies. All right, so with that kind of brief introduction, I'll be brief on some of my comments here because we've touched on this already. I think we would largely have few arguments with the idea that global payments today have not caught up with the age of the internet. We talk about slow. We've talked about the 14 days that Norman mentioned. The younger generations today are accustomed to be able to open up their smartphone and click on a button and have an ice cream delivered in 20 minutes. They aren't going to be very happy when it takes their payments, days and lots of costs to get to them. Another thing that is, I think, often lost upon us is the opaqueness in the problems with which correspondent banking currently operates. There's a 6% error rate self-published that 6% of all SWIFT transactions require human intervention. Now, that doesn't mean they don't get there. It just means that human intervention adds time, it adds cost, and what have you. And lastly, when we talk about cost, it isn't just about transaction fees. It's also about the pre-funding required for commercial banks and even large corporations and the cost of that capital. What's amazing to me is that these costs are often borne or burdened the populations that are least able to afford them. Data from the IMF and the World Bank would say that the average remittance costs around 600 basis points in a world where we think about the internet enabling kind of real-time instant information. Why can't we use these new technologies to build an internet of value?
Internet of value. So just jumping back to SWIFT now, back with Finastra, we see where Ripple plays into this. Finastra's with SWIFT. Finastra taps into Swift's cloud services. Ripple is also tapped in with Finastra as well, or Finastra uses Ripple for its end-to-end RippleNet cloud services. So here we have Finastra back with Swift again now. So simplified Swift connectivity and financial messaging. Okay, this is talking about Swift connectivity here and financial messaging. See, total fusion messages. Okay, total or fusion total messaging. I just want to make sure you get it there. Ripple manage cross-border payments easier with RippleNet via Fusion Total Messaging. That's what we're talking about here, okay? So there it is, Fusion Total Messaging, simplified Swift connectivity and financial messaging. Let's scroll down and see what you can use it with. Connectivity to Swift, Fin, File Act. This is all Swift messaging services. Fin Plus, Funds MX. So this is the now updated services. The MX is a new messaging platform, ISO 20022. The Funds, which is the US, they have Target, which is Europe, Target 2, which is cross-border for Europe. They have, CHAPS, which is, where is it again? EU, I believe it, not EU. UK, I believe it is. Then they have the ECB tips. They got EBA, Swift, GPI, and Swift Go. Let's see what those look like. So here's how the integration looks, right? The banking system itself, back office connectivity, core platforms, markets, there's the networks. Look at all these, okay? They have SwiftNet, EBIX, CNet, the FedMQ. So different messaging platforms within those different organizations. Here's the service for, there they are, the ECB Target 2, UK CHAPS, yeah. Okay, the EBA clearing, 6 digital network, the clearinghouse for ACH, automated clearinghouse, FedWire, FedNow. So there it is. This is what RippleNet will all be about or be involved in, okay? But keep in mind, there's no value going across that network now, so there really is no need for the term investment contract asset yet, right? This is why Ripple continuously, or SEC continuously draws out this ruse, or draws out this court case with Ripple, because there's no need for it yet, okay? I mean, other than the you and me of the world, like it's not being utilized for its intended purposes yet, purposefully. So here we are again, okay? Here's the function overview of what they're going to be using it for. They have the MT messages. Again, this is the Finastra and Swift certification, okay? There's what they're going to be using it for when Finastra is tapping into Swift system. This is the messaging types here, messaging services. And the places that they're going to be using them, okay? North America, Latin America, Northern Europe, Southern Europe, Middle East, and Africa, and the APAC region, Asian Pacific region. Here we go. Messaging features, message creation process, messaging technical, the flow control, exception handling, and so on and so forth, okay? So is Ripple involved in this? Yes, absolutely it is. I'm not going to sit here and say it's not. I don't want you guys to be like, oh my God, Ripple, is XRP being used? Is XRP being... Stop with those questions, honestly. Like, grow up, learn what's going on. And if you're here speculating, I'm sorry, I don't got time for you. I'm not here to speculate with anybody. I'm here to provide factual information, right? This isn't, I like Bitcoin, but Bitcoin to me is a huge speculation. It doesn't offer me cash flow daily like real estate can through an Airbnb. It doesn't offer me cash flow monthly like a monthly rental can have. It's not an investment for cash flow. It's an investment for long-term, a savings bank, if you will, if that's what Bitcoin is going to be used for. I got no issues with Bitcoin. Whether it's made by the CIA, NSA, FBI, whoever. Three-letter agent government it is. It's making money right now, so I will hold it to make some money with it right now because it is the big daddy crypto until it's not any longer. Like, think logically. This is like the Santa Claus, the tooth fairy of the world. You know, this random Satoshi Nakamoto guy came out of left field and dropped this coin for the world to use that just frees everybody from this system. It's a gateway drug that gets everybody into cryptocurrencies. Why? Because everybody knows Bitcoin, everybody knows Ethereum. So now as commercials are being advertised on TV, everyone sees now you can get into Kraken with Bitcoin and Ethereum. Everybody knows Bitcoin and Ethereum. Why? Because the government was advertising Bitcoin and Ethereum. That's all they allowed you to see. Right? They formed a monopoly in the market there to push what they wanted to show you, and that's it. That's how it works. Okay? That's what it is. It's how it works. So let's go back to this video again here. I know we're at 47 minutes here, but there's still more I want to show you guys.
Thank you. Well, we know that this is not the topic of this webinar, but we felt that ISO 20022 migration is so important that we had to plug it in before, we lose you to your afternoon. So, as you know, ISO 20022 is not new, right? We've been already through several migrations, especially in the space of market infrastructures, whether securities and payments, and for the US people or the Canadian on this call, right? You just went through your own CHIPS migration, Payments Canada migration, FedNow is live on ISO, and next year FedWire is also moving to ISO. But part of this presentation focuses on Swift's community on migration, right? Swift has been so kind as letting me use their slides, and once a month, every month, they do publish the progress of their own migration. So just as a reminder, this is an interbank migration, CBPR plus, so in the cross-border and reporting space, meaning that as of today, the corporates on the call, it's important to remind you, the corporates are not obligated yet to fully migrate to ISO 20022 in payments. So with a focus on instructions originating in ISO, we see that now the number of instructions is over 1 million a day, right? Which is a great achievement. And if we go to the end of that slide, you see an adoption rate of ISO 20022 native payments instruction of 25% of the traffic. I'll let you read the other numbers. If we move on to the next slide, it's always very interesting to remind you what's really in scope of this migration. Okay, for the interbank space. Thank you. So as you know, Swift started with what is called coexistence between MT and MX in 2023, March 2023 to be precise, with an end date of November 2025. That end date has been confirmed. It's a firm date where, as you can tell on the left side of this slide, some payment instructions in MT will be removed from the network. So you're really going to have to start using its ISO 20022 equivalent. So for the messages that are not being removed yet, and I'm talking about the beloved MT103, 202, 202 COV, those messages will still be on the network, but Swift is warning, and I have Swift on the call, so they can confirm this, right? Swift is talking about a stricter validation as well as hefty penalties. We don't know the details yet, so.
I know the details, so I'm going to pull that up for you guys so you'll know the details as well of what the penalties are should they try to use those old messages. So I want you guys to know this is an older video. This video is from 2022. And when people out there get caught up on dates, this is the information you missed. That's an old document. It's not relevant. Crypto moves too fast. Do you think that when a new document comes out, immediately it's not founded off of something else? Right? Do you think there's no precedent set? There's no education within the first document that comes out and then they grow and learn from the old documents? Like, come on, man. Get over this dumb shit that some people... Anyways. It's from 2022. Listen what this gentleman has to say. This is Africa talking about their migration to 20022 to be able to connect with Swift. All right? This will give us the information that we're looking for here in terms of the penalties with what Swift is talking about.
ISO 20022 goes live in November 2022, just 8 months away. In order to use this, you must have the latest version of Swift Alliance installed. If you're running your own Swift infrastructure, this is something that you need to do yourselves. Or if you're connecting through a third party like a service bureau, please make sure you contact your bureau and ensure they are using the latest version of Swift Alliance. Between November of 2022 and November of 2025, Swift will support both FIN and ISO messages in what is being called the coexistence period. In November 2025, Swift will retire the FIN MT1 series, 2 series, and 9 series messages. So after November 2025, if you try to send an MT103 or an MT940, it will simply be rejected by Swift, and you will instead need to send an ISO equivalent message. Now, some of you might take away from this that the migration deadline is November 2025, but that's not quite right. And that's because there's a very important distinction between sending messages and receiving messages. For sending messages, you have until 2025 to switch to ISO. And this is because you are in control of which messages you send. But this is not the case for receiving messages. You're not in control of which messages your counterparties may send you. And as from November 2022, any of your counterparties could send you an ISO message. So the key date by which you have to have the solution in place is November 2022. Just for reference, according to a SWIFT survey, more than 50% of all payments and cash management traffic, i.e. FIN MT1s, 2s, and 9s, SWIFT are projecting to be based on ISO from the go live date. So it's highly likely that you'll receive ISO messages from the go live dates. So how will this impact your back office operation? Well, most SWIFT connected banks are on STP today, whereby SWIFT messages, be they sent or received, are integrated with their core banking applications. So you should be aiming to do exactly the same thing under an ISO standard. If you're not already running mostly STP, please contact us. We can certainly help you there too. But one of
STP simply means straight through processes. S straight, T through, P is process, straight through process.
the key dependencies for ISO is whether your core banking system can support ISO messages. If you haven't already inquired with your application vendors, please do so as soon as possible. You may also want to begin contacting your key correspondents and asking them about their own plans to adopt and start using ISO. Just to share our experience with you, having spoken to many banks already, some vendors are ready to support it today, and others are working on supporting it in a future release. But the most common feedback we've got from our customers and partners is that the application vendor is ready to support ISO 20022, but it requires the customers to upgrade to a new version first. If this applies to you, you'll know that upgrading your core banking application is arguably an even more delicate project, which has to be very carefully planned ahead for. So unless you already have a plan in place, it's very unlikely that you'll be able to formulate a plan and execute that plan prior to November. So a temporary solution to support ISO by the November deadline will likely be required. In any event, please contact your vendor and inquire about their readiness, and if there are any prerequisites which apply to you, such as a mandatory version upgrade. Please also be aware that there are multiple versions of ISO 20022, and it could be that your application vendor or your counterparties are using different versions than you have ready. Now, most of the banks we've spoken to, as explained earlier, are not fully ready. Their applications are not fully ready, and they need to find another solution before November.
Okay, so let's go back to the other video we were watching prior now with this lady here, right? Now that we understand what that is, let's go back to this lady here.
Everything is being done for you to migrate to native ISO 20022 messages, so the PAX messages, by November 2025. That's for instructions. Now, regarding the next column, you have exception and investigation messages. So for those of you familiar, these are the old MTN messages, the N92, N95, N96, request for cancellation, request for charges, advice of charges. They also have their ISO 20022 equivalent, and they will be supported until November 2026. But in November 2026, you will have to move to their ISO equivalent. So the CAMP messages, CAMP 29, sorry, for request for cancellation, and its confirmation being the CAMP 56. SWIFT is also introducing the CAMP 110 and CAMP 111 for charges. They will be introduced on the network this November, so over FIN Plus, with a migration foreseen by November 2026. And now the other part of the slide where there's still a question mark. So we heard from SWIFT that the reporting messages, the empty messages, so the 940 and 950, which are the two most used messages in that category, were not retired yet, but they were deprecated. So again, you are fully kindly requested to use their ISO equivalent, the CAMP 52, 53, 54. Deprecated really means that, you know, SWIFT and its community will keep working on improving the CAM 52, 53, 54, and those changes will not be reflected in the equivalent MT messages, right? So they will not touch anymore the MT 940 and 950. They will stay as is. The date for their full retirement has yet to be announced. These are the one I really wanted to focus on. And also there's an impact for those of you who use GPI. There's an impact on the tracker notification where, again, the empty messages will be deprecated and replaced as they are today already by the tracker messages.
So here we have a conversation with Chainlink and Swift. It's called How Swift and Chainlink Are Unlocking On-Chain Tokenization at Scale. Quick video. To all you people who have bias and you're like, Ethereum's garbage and Chainlink is on garbage. Nah, man. Recognize the trend going on in the industry. Everything and everyone and every blockchain is connecting to Ethereum because Ethereum is the first blockchain that had an unlocked value in terms of what these other blockchains are going to be using and how they're going to be tapping into these things. So value is going to have to come from Ethereum to start off with. That's why RLUSD is being minted on Ethereum. That's why Ripple, the XRP ledger, has a with Peersys working on an EVM sidechain. The CBDC platform itself is already created for the central banks. That's a standalone platform similar to the XRP ledger, but not built on top of the XRP ledger because they don't want to bog it down. They don't want all this bloatware. I'm sure when the time is right, there will be a side chain that connects to that, which allows the CBDCs to flow through and the value to flow to roll across the XRP ledger as it needs to, right? So let's just hear a quick view, and then I'll come to the end on this video here.
Thank you all so much for joining us here at the main stage. I'm joined, like Zach said, by two incredible guests, Sergey and Jack, Chainlink and Swift. I think the most obvious question
The name of the game is making money. We are investors. We're here to make money. We're not here to have personal biases in this. I could care less. As bad as it sounds, I could care less what's going on with Ethereum right now and ETHgate. Unfortunately, it's sad. Trust me. I don't like the situation, the scenario at all because it involves me. I'm one of the early investors in these projects as well, right? I have to deal with these liars like Vitalik Buterin and Justin Lubin, Joe Lubin, Joseph Lubin, whatever the hell his name is, Joe Lubin, right? I've been here for a minute just hanging out in the cut, just chilling, just watching, just learning, just whatever. But at the end of the day, I'm here to make money. I'm not getting my personal bias into this, right? I have my personal bias on it, but it's neither here nor there. I'm here to make money. That's the end of discussion.
we can start off with, maybe Sergey, you can talk about this. Why do we have Chainlink, a crypto company, here on stage with Swift, a kind of bastion of traditional finance?
Well, it's actually because traditional finance and the crypto blockchain industry are very compatible. It just takes time to do that because traditional finance has all of these regulations and requirements that it needs to meet, many of them legal, basically. And the crypto industry has a massive amount of value in terms of tokenizing assets, creating DeFi protocols, smart contracts as autonomous agents to execute transactions and financial products. So the fundamental value of the crypto and blockchain industry, I think, is now having profound kind of effect on the TradFi industry. And Chainlink is driving a lot of that innovation in the DeFi community and in the public blockchain community. And in working with Swift for over 7 years, I found that it's really the same set of problems. Just one group can move very quickly because it's smaller teams that don't worry too much about certain legal requirements. And the other group has the same set of fundamental problems around transactions, risk, value. But they are, because of the amount of value they hold, literally hundreds of trillions of dollars, required to comply with certain things. And so they just move at different speeds, but eventually we'll all end up in the same place on a single internet of contracts. And that'll be, through protocols like Chainlink on the blockchain side, and it'll be through protocols like Swift on the traditional side.
So, Jack.
Right? So let's hear what Jack has to say from Swift now. Jack, and this is the last thing, okay, before we end this session.
It's awesome having you here today. I know you've talked at, or at least Swift has spoken at crypto conferences in the past. And traditionally, Swift has kind of been like a blockchain boogeyman in a certain sense, where it's like, this is the traditional pipes, rails on which our financial system runs. And crypto is trying to sort of transform that and make, have a whole revolution in how we deal with our finances, move money, move assets online. So can you talk a little bit about how Swift has kind of come to this more homogenous or more, this new view, I guess, or is it new? Like, how long have you been thinking about how to integrate these two systems with one another?
Yeah, good question. And I think this is our first time as a company at Consensus, and you can see the gradual evolution of this becoming a bit more institutionalized and not just crypto native. But I think as Sergey was pointing out, when we look at our community, right? Swift is a cooperative that's owned by financial institutions that make up our membership. More and more of the banks and institutions are actually launching their own tokenization platforms. They're starting to test out this technology for the potential benefits that it can bring. And so as we see more of our membership looking to engage with tokenized assets across the different life cycle of different asset classes, it's natural for us to try and step in and be able to support our community with interacting with those. And so when you look at Chainlink and Swift, I mean, Swift has over 11,000 financial institutions today, 235 plus market infrastructures, but Chainlink is a strong complement in the sense that they have all the integration to all the different blockchain networks that exist today. So why would Swift think it's in our best interest or the community's best interest to try and go and integrate with all these different blockchains and all the different kind of know-how that you need to have to do that when you have a strong player and a partner in Chainlink already that's doing that today?
So practically speaking, what does this partnership actually look like from your end, from the Swift end? What are you doing with Chainlink that customers might actually see?
Yeah, so I mean, we announced the results of a POC at I think like Q3 last year, where we worked with over a dozen institutions and Chainlink to understand how can our community today leverage a lot of the existing infrastructure that they have in place to be able to interact with tokenized assets or different kind of tokenized value on different blockchains. So we tested a couple of different corridors, public to public, public to private, and really it's around enabling adoption or giving a path towards quicker adoption, because institutions don't know which blockchains they're going to have to connect to, or they know what they have today, but in the future, like how do you know in 5 years these blockchains will be around? And they don't want to have to go and invest in entirely new parallel infrastructure in order to do that. So they have all the investment that they've ramped up in Swift for a number of years. And when you think about a return on investment and kind of speed to market, can they just leverage all the existing infrastructure, processes, connectivity, messaging, et cetera, to be able to access these new networks, right? And so that's kind of what we've done with Chainlink. We successfully demonstrated that from a technical standpoint, and a number of the institutions that are members of Swift are also having conversations with Chainlink, and we had a good collaborative experiment there.
Yeah, and so
actually drive and warrant invest.
There we go. Keep your biases out. Just enjoy the ride. Learn about what crypto is being utilized here. This was from 5 months ago. Learn what incumbents are using, what cryptocurrencies. Keep your bias out. We're here to make money. Steady as she sails. All right. We're here to get to the promised land at the end of all of this. We want to be wealthy at the end of all of this. Not rich. Wealth is generational. Wealth is more than just money. Wealth is your well-being, your health, your family, your life, your love, your friends around you, the energy you take in, because that's the energy you're giving out, right? Wealth is an all-encompassing word. Riches is just money. I'm not here for just money. I'm here to free myself from this slave ship, take others with me to this promised land in the end, and shake hands and break some bread afterwards, man. Sit down and parlay is all I'm saying. So, I'll see you guys on the next one. Maybe some of you guys will. I'll see you guys in the Mr. Man Patreon. I didn't shield that this time, but I will right now. I do offer a Patreon. It's a free Patreon. And you can get access to like almost everything that I have in this Patreon. However, there are some differences with the paid membership as well. And it's only $10 a month. And with this $10 a month, you will have access to everything within in the Patreon. And that also includes town halls, which we have every Friday. I'm in the process of chatting with Jake Claver again. I want to have Jake Claver. I have Sean of the XDC coming. Just last night, we had a strawman common law conversation. I'm having Optimus Prime. This following week coming up, I got T coming in. I got a jeweler coming. We got speakers, is what I'm saying. We got people coming that add value to the individuals who want to play. I also have a higher tier, and with that one it's more intimate, it's more personal. At that point, we exchange contact information, and we're chatting at that point. You know what I'm saying? Not just in a group chat. It's you and me chatting. What you need, I'm here to help you out and help you strategize and help you get into the positions that can help you make your money faster. That's the tier 2. I'll see you guys on the next one.
We making moves. We making major moves. We making moves.